Alright, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Hot Rod Girl, 1956. I'm giving this 3 out of 5 stars, so I thought I was alright. It's clearly aimed at the teenage crowd from the 1950s. It is, after all, an AIP flick. And the movie title pretty much gives away what the movie is about. It's got the Riddle Miss Batman. He plays Flat Top. It's got Dabs Greer, who was in a ton of movies, playing the auto repair shop owner, and doesn't have anything to do with Roger Corman, as far as I can tell. So this cop has this social experiment idea to run a drag strip to keep kids from racing on the streets. But it has the opposite effect. One of the kids gets killed in a drag strip race on the street with a couple hot rods. His brother Jeff, he does the inspections on the racetrack, and he's all devastated by his brother's death. He feels like he's responsible, even though he told him not to race out on the streets. His brother did it anyway, got killed. He was on the passenger side, and somehow he miraculously survived. So instead of drinking, he decides to work around the clock at the Dabs Greer auto repair shop. And he kind of ignores his girlfriend. He ignores his friends. So they're looking to stir up trouble. The Riddler flat top guy, he accepts a chicken invitation from this older bully in a leather jacket, and the older bully also has the hots for the Jeff's blondie girlfriend, but she doesn't want any of it. So Flat Top Riddler chickens out. He promises his girlfriend that he won't do it again, and the cop who set up this drag race track social experiment, he's starting to get threatened to get fired, and he asks for one more chance. So he goes to the older James Dean wannabe with the leather jacket, and he invites him to go on the racetrack. By this time, Jeff agrees to go back. All his friends are there, and they decide to use the racetrack again. So it's kind of back and forth. Racetrack, hot rod race on the street resulting in death, then racetrack again. Well, first there's chicken race, and then racetrack again, and then at the same time, sort of, Jeff flunks the guy's car because he's got all kinds of problems with it. So he takes off. Jeff's done with his inspections after that, and the social experiment cop guy decides to give Jeff back his driver's license. So he says he's a free man, and his girlfriend says not really, kind of sarcastically to him. that was a pretty cool moment. But anyways, um, Jeff and the James Dean look-alike dude. He they get in this cat and mouse game on the road. It's kind of a windy road kind of deal, and bicyclist gets killed. They try to blame it on Jeff. Of course, James Dean wants to blame it on Jeff, but the social experiment cop gets fired, and that's pretty much the movie. I mean, there's kind of a plot twist ending, I guess you could say. I don't want to spoil it too much, but pretty cool soundtrack. Somebody was saying on YouTube that the flute player did California Dreaming flute, that song, later in the 60s. So it's got a bunch of recognizable names. It's got the Riddler from the Batman TV show. It's got the flute player for California Dreaming on the soundtrack. And this movie had its moments, like that free man comment, and Jeff trying to feel guilty, take the responsibility for his brother's death, even though it wasn't his fault. That was kind of admirable of him, not to drink and to work his way through his the psychological damage, watching his brother die on his side in some kind of drag strip race on the street. So it wasn't a great movie. It was kind of boring. It kind of dragged along, no pun intended. But like I said, it had its moments. It had a decent soundtrack. It had that 50s feel. So it wasn't that bad, but it could have been better. Obviously, the crash scenes were off camera. And AIP did that a lot in these older movies to save money. So there's that. It was also It Conquered the World had that. I didn't realize how many problems It Conquered the World had until I watched another reviewer's take on it. For instance, there were 6 soldiers coming into the cave to fight with the monster. He described it as an upside down carrot thingy or something like that. I can't even remember how he described it. I couldn't really describe it well. I said it looked like the Crazy Crab, San Francisco Giants mascot from the 1980s. And plus, one of the soldiers was dumb enough to run right into the monster. And and obviously they ripped off The Day the Earth Stood Still. I totally forgot to mention that, but I was thinking along the same lines. And I had no idea that there was a sequel with the same actors in it. I don't know if I'll get around to watching it. Maybe I have watched it and I don't remember, but yeah, there's a sequel to It Conquered the World. Exact same story, I think. Some creature from Venus making the world stop, kind of like California here with the governor stopping everything. And at least I've got power and water and gas and stuff. On this funky bachelor pad that it only has warm water for the shower, not hot water. And saw a mouse running around. I looked in the closet, and there's like a Brillo pad thing to cover up the hole in the closet. So it's a little funky here, but the price is good, $450 a month. So I can't really complain. But anyways, yeah, I've been self-isolating, doing what the government says, working from home. But I'm just doing it to save gas, not because I'm afraid of some fictional coronavirus that's supposedly going around exponentially. The tests are still coming out false positive, so it could be tuberculosis or flu or anything. But I think I'm healthy enough to build up immunity to all that stuff, regardless. And my son's mother was, I think I mentioned it, she was trying to lecture me about social distancing. I told her it didn't work. It's already been tried. It backfired in both China and Italy. So she finally agreed to let my son hang out here for 4th of July. So I'm real excited about that. Hopefully all the self-isolation, social distancing ridiculousness will go away by then, but I'm not exactly holding my breath on that. And anyways, the spring equinox tilted the Earth towards the sun, so it should be gone by next month, or maybe May at the latest. But that's just a prediction. I don't know how to tell the future, and certainly the government loves draconian measures to keep people in check, to show their authority and whatnot. So who knows what's going to happen after May? Could continue into June for all I know. These ridiculous government closures and whatever here in California and also in New York. And they're repeating the same mistakes as the Chinese and the Italians. But don't let that stop them. They'll just keep doing it over and over again until people wake up and realize that it's all a big hoax. And there's no reason to stay self-isolated or to engage in this ridiculous social distancing or to wash hands compulsively with hand sanitizer. None of that is going to have any effect on the rate of death or the rate of infection, except it it will probably make it go up like it did in Italy and China. So that's my 2 cents worth nothing after inflation about the coronavirus. Stock market is way down. It's like 18,000. What was it just a month ago? Like 29,000. So it almost halved itself. I think it will have itself by the end of the week. Despite the idiots of the Federal Reserve trying to pump liquidity or whatever they're trying to do, create money out of thin air. Legalized counterfeiting is what it amounts to. And so I didn't take my son to Golden Gate Park yesterday. He didn't want to go. He just wanted to watch YouTube all day. We did end up going to Safeway and a couple of Targets. The one at Stonestown is pretty lame. I couldn't find any belts. Then I went to the one at Tanforan Mall, And the third floor was closed, which is where all the belts are. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to find a Target that has one giant level ground floor. And so I go to the San Mateo Target on the old Fashion Island shopping mall strip. And it took me a while, but I found both the cheap belt for $10 and some cheap scissors for like 16. All told, it cost me $18. But I was walking around the store, this gigantic store, for like an hour trying to find this stuff because I'm not too familiar with that store. I used to go there a lot, but now I live in San Francisco. My son still lives in San Mateo, unfortunately. But I've got a couple of moving violations tickets I got to take care of. It'll be interesting if I can get those dismissed if the cops ever show up. So I got 4 chances of getting my my trials dismissed on that. I'm trying to plan my my PTO for that and my son's summer vacation. So it's a little tricky and confusing, but anyways, that's my situation. Thought I'd pad this video a little bit since I didn't really have too much to say about the movie. It's just your standard hot rod movie, and if you watch it on YouTube, it's got some commercials about some auto dealer company. Just copied and pasted in between. There's even a break in the film where it's just nothing but black space for half a second or so. So that was kind of odd. But the print is in pretty good shape, I think. And it sounds pretty good. So if you're into hot rod movies, you probably enjoy this more than I did. I couldn't really understand what the flat top guy was talking about half the time. Some kind of 50s vernacular that maybe I wasn't listening close enough, or he was just talking slang gibberish that I didn't understand. Even the diner guy couldn't understand what he was talking about. So yeah, that's about it. I'm not going to say highly recommend it or check it out or anything, but I did post a couple of the actors' names on there if you're interested in the description box. That's about all I have to say about this flick. Let's see if I can take a little nap before I go to my next job. And we'll see how that goes. I've got another movie in the queue. And, what is it called? Oh, The She Creature. So I'll probably watch that once I get to Oakland. I'm waiting for my route to come. And might even have time to squeeze in another film. Gotta see what other AIP films are available from this time period. But it's been slow chucking through these AIP movies, even though I've been doing like 4 a day. There's so many of them that I might not be able to finish it for a while. But thanks for hanging in there with me, and have a good day. Laters.